Hello everyone, welcome to Grade 10 Science. My name is Mr. Durning. I'm really sorry that I'm not there today on the first day of school. Something came up and I had to leave the country, but I will be back for your next class and I look forward to meeting everyone. Some of you I've met before, but in that case I look forward to meeting you again, seeing you again, and to another year of having fun science together. Let's see. So, who am I? Mr. Durning. I grew up in a very small town, Williamstown, Massachusetts, in the United States. It's about 3 hours from Boston, 4 hours from New York City. I also eventually lived in both Boston and New York City before moving here to Amsterdam. This is now my 10th year in Amsterdam and at ISA. I teach DP chemistry in the diploma program, and I've been teaching grade 9 and 10 science all 10 years that I've been at ISA. And I've been teaching for 19 years now. This is my 19th year, and it's my 17th year teaching in the IB. I also have two kids myself at ISA, Jude and Maeve, who are in the lower school, and these guys down here at the bottom left, hopefully you recognize, and if you don't, you will come to recognize that those are the Beatles. And I have a bit of an obsession with the Beatles, and we'll talk more about that later. Okay, if this is the EAL class for grade 10, then you'll already know Ms. Giefers. She is our in-class EAL support. Think of her as a second teacher, someone whose main focus is on language and scientific language skills, but she is a support for everyone in the room, and you'll be seeing a lot of her. Okay, class overview. This year in grade 10 science, our focus is on the theme of disease. The whole year is under that umbrella of disease. And so the five main units that we've got mapped out for ourselves is human physiology, so looking at the human body, looking at the structure of cells, using microscopes, then moving into infectious disease, so looking at diseases that are caused by things like bacteria and viruses, and how we treat those diseases and some of the issues associated with that. We're going to look at environmental diseases, things like cancer, that can be caused by things you do to yourself, by lifestyle, or by things you're exposed to in the environment. We're also going to look at genetic diseases. Specifically, we'll look at a disease called cystic fibrosis, how that genetic disease occurs, the process of passing on genes through inheritance, things like that. And finally, we'll look at enzymes. Enzymes are crucial biological molecules, and so we'll do an investigation to see various factors that affect enzyme activity. Now, in each unit, the only other thing I really want to cover right now is about assessment in the MYP. So in each unit, there will be different assessments. And in the MYP, if you're new to an MYP school, there are 4 different criteria: criterion A, B, C, and D. A is mainly used with tests. B and C are used with lab reports, planning lab reports, and then post data collection lab reports. And then finally, there's criterion D, which could be assessed through an essay, through a presentation, even through a conversation between you and your teacher. And they're each worth up to 8 points, 8 being the top score. And then your scores from all 4 get combined to determine your overall IB score for the semester or for the year. So for example, if you add up all 4 criteria points at the end of semester 1 and they equal 28 points or higher, then that gives you a grade 7 on the IB scale, which is the top grade for the semester. Now, the really nice thing that I like to emphasize about assessment in the MYP is that the emphasis is on improvement. And at the end of the year, I will choose the best score based on the evidence before me that represents where you are at the end of the year. And so I have some different examples at the bottom, and the top example, the best example, would be example A. So at the start of the year, maybe you earn a 3 in a particular criterion, like a criterion C lab report. Maybe on the next lab report, you earn a 4, and in the last lab report, you earn a 5. That would mean that at the end of the year, I would probably give you a 5 because you've shown steady improvement, and 5 is where you are at the end of the year. So the best thing that you can do is review feedback, ask questions, always try to be improving, work with me and communicate with me to try to help yourself improve. And so long as you're making steady improvement, then you have the opportunity for your grades to really improve by the end of the year. In terms of what you need for this class, please show up with a way of organizing handouts that we give you. So a binder, not a 3-ring, it should say a 2-ring binder. A folder, a notebook. You can use different systems to keep track of those things. And then we're also going to require that at the end of every class day, you're going to be taking photos of whatever it is we've worked on in class, and you'll be submitting that on Google Classroom. It is easy for handouts and notes to get lost, especially if you're not very organized in your backpack. So Google Classroom, in addition to being how I'm going to share information every day, will also be the platform where you keep track of all of your work from each day and homework for each day. You also need to show up with something to write with, a laptop that has a charger or is fully charged, and a calculator. We're going to do our best to not use our phones. We're going to keep them away. So you do need to be prepared with another kind of calculator to get you through the math work that we're going to do this year. And so those are the things that you need to have for class, and that's how what we're going to cover this year, and a bit about how assessments are going to work in grade 10 science.